What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hemi,
It's your boy Kyrie.
and we are back with another episode of What's
What's the
the
point?
Point? The point is we're never gonna get this
No,
right.
it's always going to be you.
That's the point.
It is.
No.
I have a certain cadence in which I say it, and I have a pause.
Well, your cadence don't match mine. Pick up.
Right. So that
Pick
means
it
you
up.
just change yours.
Catch up, mustard.
No.
Pick it up.
The problem is you have an
The problem is
issue
you.
with following
The
behind
problem
me.
is you.
No.
Anyway, today's episode, because ain't nobody got no time to
I'm
argue
gonna
with Kyrie.
kick you when we're in person.
Today's
Like my blunt
episode.
already. I'm getting. Go ahead.
Shut your fat trap so I can talk to the people.
It's been a long week, ain't it? You missed me, bitch. It's been a long week.
With every bullet so far. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Today's episode, we're going to review the movie Sinners. We'll kind of throw in some other vampire movies that we have loved throughout the ages, things like that. Because there's a big debate whether this is a vampire movie or not.
A lot of people keep having that type
But
can we wait?
I do want to introduce
already like a piranha ready to snap.
Our producer and director and worker of all the arts, Carnage and Shazam.
Yes.
What up, shady bitch? How are you?
Love it. All right. So, as my illustrious co-host just said, yes, we are going to be covering the movie Sinners and talking about our favorite vampire movies as well, kind of do a little compare and contrast. And also, there is a debate brewing amongst the four of us if this movie actually counts as a vampire movie or not. Right now, Hemi and I say it does. We have our illustrious producer, Shazam, who says it does not. Shazam, we have not. I'm messing everybody's names up. Shazam says that it's not. Carnage has yet to give his opinion on whether he thinks it's a vampire movie or not.
No. Let's get it right, though. I'm not saying definitely that it's not. I'm just saying
You
that it's
just
really.
said
It's
before-
Yes, you
reductive.
did. You said
You
it's not a
just
vampire
said
movie.
that
There's
it's
just
not a
vampires
vampire.
in it.
Exactly. So
Okay.
Those were your exact words.
Okay, you're right. But
So
let me add some context, though. To me, a vampire movie is solely based upon the story being about the vampire. This is not that. The vampires are just something that's in it and is used as a talking point to get other things across rather than it being about the vampires. So that's why I say it's not a vampire movie.
Who is the
I
bad
don't agree.
people in the movie?
The list of them.
keep it black and white, boy. Let's not go there.
Well, that's kind of that is the white folks are bad, and also the vampires are bad. So
Anyway,
Right.
So
let's talk about are we showing the trailer or what are we doing?
Yeah, let's kick that off before
this debate continues.
what? Okay, so we're gonna discuss the movie Sinners. It's a 2025 film by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan. And I'm trying to get things together here, Some people are just like so in a rush to get to it because they don't want to discuss some things.
Oh no, we're gonna break
I figure we should show the trailer before we get into this deep debate.
Last week you said show the trailer first.
Thank you.
Right.
But someone is ill prepared.
Right.
So they're blaming it on us.
So you had me talking ahead of time, so it kind of slowed me down a little bit. But anyway, bitches.
Right. As I like to say, Cole, kick it.
We've been gone a long time. We back now. You twins? Nah, we cousins.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your eyes?
soul can pierce the veil between life and death.
Listen here. This ain't no house party. Shit. Y'all ready to drink? Y'all ready to sweat till y'all stink?
You want some?
You keep dancing with the devil.
Careful, boy. You gonna bite off more than you can chew.
One day he's gonna follow you home.
We got us a problem, y'all. What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party. This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
You don't need no saving.
Yes, you do.
And you are?
I am your way out. Don't cry. It's all better now.
Yes, I lied to you. I don't believe in magic. Ghosts, demons. Just power. Somebody please take me.
We gonna kill every last one of you.
Hey, I didn't mean to scare you. Thought y'all done forgot about me in here. Come on, open the door, let on out of here.
Stay. It's you?
Of course it's me, open the door.
That ain't your brother.
Lied to you.
Yo, smell anything? I think I shot myself.
That was the preview. Looks like a vampire movie to me. But let's have a discussion.
Okay, so
What did you feel about the movie, Kyrie? Let's start with you, so you can go ahead and spoiler alert. He's going to ruin the movie for you if you haven't seen it. Just FYI, Kyrie.
Well, here's the thing, but not just me. This is a spoiler-based review. This is a spoiler-based review.
No, we're just gonna spoil it. It's
If
been
you
out
have
for some
not
weeks.
seen it, if you have not seen it at this point, I don't know what to tell you because it's been out for a while. So I'm not going to really give. I'm not. But in saying that, let me say this: at the core of it, yes, it is a vampire movie, but the story revolving around it is much deeper than just the vampires. At the core, the story itself is about your God-given talents and the direction you choose to use them in. It also correlates to our culture and how we are given so many different talents and what we can do with them, that we can transcend fucking generations with our shit, i.e. hip hop. That's prime fucking example. It's also about the power of one's voice. Like, this movie, it talks about a lot of different things. It incorporates magic, hoodoo, which is something that is not usually put in movies, and it was something that was highlighted. You know, I loved Annie's character. I thought that that actress played her fucking phenomenally. And that's the key thing. And I think that's why Shazam stands on it not necessarily being considered a vampire movie, because it had so much rich context and all these other things that interwoven into the movie, that the vampires were a medium. Excuse me. The vampires were a medium for what happens when your voice is so powerful that it can pierce the veil. It could reach anyone. The veil is like a metaphor for like someone who can have a voice, whether you are a preacher, whether you're a politician, whether you're a pastor, someone who can speak to the masses, that can reach anybody. That's what that meant to me in that particular sense. The whole thing with the father and trying to tell him that he had to give up music and serve God is like, who are you to tell me what my blessing is? And my blessing saved my life. So, it was a lot of different lessons and things that we learn in the story itself. Um, but like I said, at its core, I will call it a vampire movie because that was still one of the best parts. Is that it was chosen to be in the medium of a horror movie with vampires. You know what I'm saying? And there were two different types of villains, I feel like, in this movie, with the vampires being one, and then, you have the clan being the other. Because as you learn throughout, that it was a setup. So it's a lot of layers to this shit. And I get why Shazam feels like it's not inherently um a vampire movie because there's so much going on. But I would say that it is. And I love the fact that they had the brothers being against each other, and then they had, of course, the titular black versus white in the clothing because, I hope I get these right. It was Stack that got turned into a vampire, correct?
Yes, Stack is the one that wears red.
Right. So Stack had the black vest on. Smoke had that white tank top on. So they even called back to the old trope of giving you that visual signification of now they're completely on opposite sides. It wasn't just the fact that one had a blue Kango and the other one had a red.
Yeah, Smoke always wears blue, and
Right.
there's cultural significance to that as well, considering who his wife is and her practice as a
So
priestess.
right. So these are a lot of things that some people may not get if you don't understand all the undertones of the things. And there's a lot of cultural significance when it comes to all the racial background, the people that were all there. You know what I'm saying? The Korean folks that were there and the gatherings and all of that as well. But I want to give everybody to talk a chance to talk and speak on it. I'm going to bounce it back to my co-host. And we're going to bounce it around to the other guy.
Did you enjoy the movie?
And I loved it, to be very honest.
That's the thing you did. I don't think you said that. That's all I'm
I
saying.
honestly I did because I hit Shazam halfway through the beginning and said, no, this is not necessarily a vampire movie. I see where you're going with this. And watching it come back around to it is, but it's just it has a very deep story interwoven into it. And it's not your typical vampire movie where it's the main topic of the movie. You know what I'm saying? But I get that. But I loved it for what it was, for what it gave me in understanding the power in which one's voice holds. I thought that was great storytelling. You know what I'm saying? The cultural significance of having like I said, the Asian family there. But then if you look at the vampires, and it was cult. Excuse me, it was cultish. I don't know if y'all caught that too. The vampires gave off a cult vibe because they had a hive mind. You know what I'm saying? I loved the subtle nuances of it. I loved how they could see each other's thoughts. So when he gave him that information about how this whole thing was a setup, they're coming to kill y'all. Like Smoke could see he's telling the truth. So then it gives you that dichotomy of like, damn, they're not on our side, but they are on our side. They're not on our side, and it's just I like the layers. All the layers the movie gave is what really kept me into it. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it for me.
For me, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good vampire movie. I'm gonna say that this entire episode. I guess
Yeah, stay
it
shady.
had it had other it had other messages in it, but for me at its core, and this is just our debate, y'all, it was a vampire movie. And I think Shazam was saying he felt like it wasn't a vampire movie because vampire movies are usually about the vampire. But that's not true always. Like the Underworld series, it's not about
I
the
loved
vampires. It's
Underworld series.
about
Yeah,
the I can't think of Kate.
It's about the society of vampires and its hierarchy within it, in accordance to also introducing other, I guess, predators within it, such as the werewolves.
But I feel like
Yeah,
it
but
was
it
her.
also
It was a
revolved.
battle about her. It wasn't really
Yeah, because it also
about
revolved around this story about her and
vampires
the
to
other
me.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
but
a romance,
I
but
think there are
yeah,
many vampire movies that aren't just about the vampire, but it could be about the main
actually
character
most
who
aren't.
is battling the vampire. So, but at its core was a vampire movie. But I do want to say I enjoyed the movie. I did catch a lot of what Kyrie was saying, the subtle nuances, like being true to yourself and do living living in your truth and being doing what makes you happy, versus conforming to what someone thinks you should be. Um, I do want to say because this irked my soul because I wanted to. This was spoiler alert when the when the little Asian lady called them in the building. I would have.
Yeah,
I'm just saying she. I was
that part actually made a lot of people angry
so
because she sacrificed everyone's safety for her anger and her.
yes,
Yeah,
I
and
was.
people.
Ooh,
The main thing people have been saying that is that correlates to how Asian people will stand with us up until they get to a certain proximity of whiteness. In which case, then they will sell out any and all other POCs for that proximity to whiteness. You know what I'm saying?
now where'd
And
you get that from?
been one of the main topic of discussions I've seen on TikTok and Instagram as far as the discussion behind the Asian character.
I will not
Um,
agree with that.
Okay, so
I'm just
no,
I
he's
understand what you're saying.
this is where I got to
My
step in to
feeling on
say
that
he's
is
correct. The social construct of the South back in those days, the Chinese were brought in as a go-between our black society and the white society. They were actually put in there as disruptors in order to get our black dollars, that the little bit that we actually did make, to funnel back into white communities, because we were trying to stay with to ourselves and share amongst ourselves. But the Asians came in and also and kind of usurped that structure, and they've kind of become a go between us and them, and they come in and benefit off of us and do not provide in our communities and just funnel away to the white people. They've always
I, I don't
they've
find it a
always put
coincidence he
themselves
had.
right. They've always put themselves in the position where they were above us, but not realizing that they're still treated below the others and
I.e.
used as a
affirmative
tool.
action.
Right.
But I caught in wind of that very early on when I noticed that he had them as um, convenience store owners. Because what do you see in every damn black neighborhood? At least one hair store, and who own that shit?
Of course. I thought you were gonna say
So,
convenience store. I was like, no, they own the beauty supplies.
oh, beauty supply hands down.
They
You
own
can find
they
it.
own the beauty supply.
It depends on the neighborhood. Like you do find some neighborhoods where Korean folks do own convenience stores, yes. But 9 times out of 10 in a black area, it's going to be a carryout or a hair store. I'm telling you what I know. It's going to be a carryout or a beauty supply store. Always.
What do you mean, like Chinese food? When you say
Yes.
carry out?
Oh yeah, Chinese carryout. Excuse me. Yes, Chinese carryout with
Oh,
American options because honey, they're gonna have some fried chicken on that menu. I don't care what Chinese carryout you go to, they always got some good old fried chicken. They will fry that shit hard as
Um,
fuck if you tell them.
um,
Just
it was China One, in Detroit. Uh,
oh
uh,
yeah, I've had them.
the places the places that he talking about.
Yes,
Carry out is the same thing in DC.
thank you.
I just want to clarify. That's what carry out was. That's
For
all.
my DC, Maryland, VA folks, yeah, but anybody else, I do. He covered it pretty well. Carry out just means Chinese food. We just call it carry out because, and really one of the reasons why is because we're gonna go back to the movie. One of the reasons why is because in the area, the restaurant signs literally had the word carry out in the sign. So yeah, Chinese carry out. So we just called it carry out. Yeah. But anyway, so let's go to Carnage. Wonderful segue, right? Let's go to Carnage to get his opinion because he has yet to give his opinion on this at all. So, come on, man.
Well, y'all just got to me. Anyway, I like the
First
movie.
question: is it a vampire movie? And then go ahead. Then lead into your.
Yeah, stay shady.
Be
Um,
honest, Carnage.
no, I'm going to say what I was said before we start recording. That what who was killing people? The vampires.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I get that y'all said it's not a vampire movie because any through the first half of the movie, if you didn't know that Remick was a vampire or whatever, you didn't see any vampires. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I get it. It wasn't it was it was more than the vampires. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it was a vampire movie.
Thank you.
It just had layers.
Yeah. What did you take away from it?
um
Oh Lord.
so well, I'll say this. It was a good movie. Uh um it was a good movie. Ryan Coogler um did his job, and Michael B. Jordan did his job or whatever. But he he didn't reload that handgun anytime anytime he had it, but he reloaded the big guns.
That's what you
Yeah,
Carnage. Leave it to the
I
gun
love it.
enthusiast,
I love
y'all.
it.
Leave it to the gun enthusiast to sit here and out of all the deep meanings and thoughts in this movie, his big red ass noticed a
The
fucking
the
gun.
sheer annoyance that he had at this that day was just
He did it off camera. He
he
did it off
bitched
camera.
about this all day. Is
All
he gonna reload
day.
that gun? Is he gonna reload that gun? Is he gonna reload that gun? And I noticed it too, but I didn't say that because I knew he was gonna go in. Like he didn't reload that gun. Wait, he reloaded the Tommy gun? Wait.
That's what had your focus was the fact that they did not show on screen him reloading the handgun.
no, yes, yeah.
Why is that?
Because no, it's not a future movie. You got to reload them guns. So I
But
want
for context, wouldn't you already assume that he would have reloaded the gun?
no, no, no. I gotta see
He's
it.
upset. He is literally. I can see it in his face. He's upset by this, y'all. He is literally bothered by this.
But
Woo.
um, it was a good movie. Um, I so I got all the I had to watch it first, and it was what it was, but I had to look at these pieces and stuff that was breaking it down or whatever, and I say, okay, I can see that. Okay, I see. You know what I'm saying? I can see that. So, but yeah, um, um, the acting was good. Um, um, every Uh, well, I'm gonna leave this for Shazam to say, but the action was good. Yeah, I liked it.
All right, Shazam, take it
Everybody,
away.
everybody strap yourself in. Here we go.
Right.
Go
Oh,
ahead. I'm ready. Go
Your
ahead.
mama.
Like you're ready to cross the border. Don't start.
Anyway, I enjoyed the movie. quite a
No,
bit.
we know.
Shut up. And then, and technically, yes, it is a vampire movie. However, I find calling it a vampire movie is severely reductive. To be honest, it was kind of like three or four different kinds of movies in one, and the vampires just kind of showed up to just crash the party. So, um, let me
Like
see.
Dust Till Dawn, right?
No, that's another one.
If
That's
you've
another
seen
conversation.
Dust Till Dawn, it's like two different movies.
Yeah, that's right. It's my
But
favorite
that's
bait.
kind of in reverse though,
It's
because see,
my
the
very favorite bait and
vampires,
switch movie.
No, the
right? The
vampires came at
vampires,
the end.
no, the
But how?
vampires ran the bar. The
Right.
Right, but
people
they
that
didn't
came in,
get to it. The movie was on for an hour before they ever get to the bar. They had
right?
been
They didn't start
Right.
kidnapped and
right,
all this other
right.
stuff had happened, and then they get to the bar and the vampires start trying to kill them. So to me, it was like two movies in one. But that's kind of how this, for me, Sinners moved. Like the beginning was giving you all these layered messages and giving you all these things, and then the vampires showed up. But thanks to the
But it
vampire
Um,
had
movie. But continue. I'm sorry, Shazam. I didn't mean to
uh,
cut
no,
you off.
I'll say this real quick. I was looking online and I was seeing how it was uh the 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 uh the the uh the idea of the movie uh was
take your time, big guy.
no it hadn't been thought of before or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, that was just from dusk till dawn. That was like just they just switched it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
Hmm.
yeah, but continue, Cole. Sister
So I'm calm down. All right. So from Dust to Dawn thing. Let me stick a pin in that one right quick. So from Dust to Dawn, it does start off as two different movies. And very similar because it introduces two criminal brothers. Um, but in Dust to Dawn, they're in the midst of a heist. From this one, we actually get introduced to. Let me think. Let me think. Not the brothers first, but we do get introduced to the actual vampire, and we do get a hint that there's something else going on. So they were introduced at the very beginning. So there was a seed through to where we saw that there was going to be some kind of other thing happening other than a completely different movie. So I don't think that quite tracks. I think comparing it to From Dusk Till Dawn, I can see where you would get the similarities, but it doesn't quite play out in the same way story wise.
It wasn't
That's
about the
Um,
story. It was just this is the beginning of the movie, and then the vampires show up in the second half of the movie. Yes, the guy showed up
Yeah, the guy.
to
uh,
the
So
people's house, but it was very, I don't know. For me, it's just it
right
moved in a
from there, you could say it was more of a thriller, and then from there on, we go
that was a
to,
vampire movie.
and from there we meet the brothers, and we completely missed the fact that there was just this whole murder that happened. We have this couple that okay. First, we introduced to Remick, actor. Let me think. I can't find his name. Jack O'Connell. We introduced to Remick. He's apparently fleeing, being chased by the Choctaw natives, hunting him down.
I would love to see it. I would love to have seen more of them in the film as well.
Yeah,
But I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, we'll
it was
discuss
very
that
much
because
like
that's
it was very much like, okay, y'all, we're trying to warn y'all. You don't okay, bye. And you ain't seen it in the rest of the movie. It was
Right.
like, he's okay, you good? Oh, honey, sun's getting low. Let's hit it.
We told the
right.
white
And
people, right? We tried to tell the white people.
If
I
you
was like,
invited them in, you need to get them out. But
if
just
they was
making
gonna
sure
help.
you're all right.
So he was like, oh, you good? You got uh, all right, y'all.
And
Sun's
then
getting low. Let's hit it.
clearly we see that Remick has killed the unsuspecting couple that led him into the damn place. Well, the husband. So clearly, there's something going on. There's a murder happening, and then from there we shift to a whole another movie because then we're introduced to the two brothers, Smoke and Stack, who have just come into town from Chicago from having
That
who were they dealing with? Capone, I think they said.
Shazam, flip that. We're introduced to the brothers first, and then Remick
Yeah.
after that.
Okay, so there we
Yeah.
go.
And that's what I was about to tell him. It was the same as far as the two movies because we were introduced to the vampire first.
And it was also
Um,
a brother situation in both movies.
Right. The elements are the same, but it just doesn't play out in quite the same way.
Of course, it's not the same movie.
Because they were
Which is one,
because we did get introduced to the threat
but
ahead of time, but we did not get that
but
in from Dust to Dawn.
but the thing is, I think you're nitpicking points now because we're saying that it has the same elements. We're
No, y'all
acknowledging
weren't.
it's
Y'all
the
were saying it
same
was
movie.
just like it. It was like a half a movie and then half of this, and it just was not. The
Well, the
vampires
thing
were
about it,
actually
we're
seated
saying
within.
in terms of the story because in
but
Dust Till
but
Dawn,
but
it starts
but
out as a robbery gone wrong, and they end up in a bar that just so happens to be ran by vampires.
Right.
In Sinners, it is two brothers who are trying to run a juke joint for black people, and it just so happens vampires want to come in and kill them because they're drawn by Sun. So
but
in
you
the movie,
but you
it's a
see
happenstance thing.
but you see the resemblance
Yeah,
on
I said they were glimmers, but again, we were introduced to the vampires in the first half of the movie as well.
But we're okay. But that's what we're saying. That's a nitpick point. What we're just pointing out right now are the similarities about the movies and how they flowed and what
No,
stuck out to
I'm
us.
being a him because he was saying like, is it a vampire movie of this? Did that happen or did it not happen? So those things did not
But it's
happen, as
but
y'all were
either
saying.
way,
But
so either
that's not
way,
what I was making a comparison to Dust to Dawn. That's not. I wasn't comparing that um, to say that it's because Dust Till Dawn is a vampire movie, just like Sinners.
That's another thing
I
though, because
don't care
weren't those
what you
actually reptiles
mm-mm.
No,
in from Dust to Dawn?
they were vampires.
no, they were
They were different looking vampires.
They
living
were weird looking
vampires,
vampires, but
but
they were
yeah,
vampires.
Hmm.
I mean, they may
Oh,
have had more. I think you're thinking of the fact that Selma Hayek was dancing with that beautiful boa, the
you know
constrictor that she
they
had,
had kind of snake
and they had a
motifs though.
right. I
no,
was saying
she
they
was
had like a reptilian type of look, but they were vampires.
no, she was dancing with a snake.
No, that too.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like vampires are designed very different per director and per vision. So, just like Stephen King, his vampires were designed like cats. So, I mean,
Yeah, I didn't know they were supposed to be considered vampires, so I looked it up.
so it's based on the
Oh,
interpretation of
wait, Cats was a vampire movie.
Yeah,
the,
Sleepwalkers was supposed to
the
be a vampire
sleepwalkers.
movie.
Those big cats, they were
Oh,
vampires.
yeah.
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 So vampires can look depending on the author or director's interpretation. If the vampires in Dusk Till Dawn had a more reptilian type of look, that's because that's how they wanted them to look. The vampires in Sinners had more of a demon-esque type zombie type of look to them because in Sinners they weren't regenerating when they got hurt, if you noticed. Anytime they got shot or hurt in other vampire movies, vampires regenerated. They did not. You know what I'm saying? They didn't die, but they
They
weren't
are
regenerating.
not. Sleepwalkers weren't vampires.
Yes, they were.
Oh, they were considered to be vampires actually,
Yeah, they
but
were.
even though they looked like cats, but in
They were
story they were
considered
supposed to be vampires.
Wait,
because they lived on draining people's energies.
wait. Hemi heard that and started googling like a motherfucker.
I did because I'm like they was big cat things.
They lived. The
Like,
premise of Sleepwalkers was that the
it did okay. It says they are vampire creatures, but I'll go with that.
yeah
But I never knew that. I just was like, what are these
they
weird
live
things?
so basically a vampire can be described as any being that lives off another person's life force, whether it's blood or energy. If you consume another person's life force in any form that manner, you can be considered a vampire.
Right.
It's like when you have like 28 days, well, that's like based on a virus, right?
Right.
Right. So in all these different types of movies, this is why I love that we're comparing right now. And this segues so easily into the other parts of what we're talking about as far as vampire movies. They all have different correlations in terms of draining someone's life force, be it blood, energy, plasma, whatever. But they all fall under the umbrella of being considered a vampire. So, as where it's draining someone's life force in Sleepwalkers, or being turned vampiric by a virus in 28 Days Later, or having a maker from a show like True Blood, these are all just different facets of vampirism. Just like
Right.
the vampires in Sinners are
Did you
just a
say
different facet.
facets?
Yeah, facet.
Oh, I thought you said facets. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
You
Just
just
another different
said it wrong.
facet of what makes a vampire a vampire. You have vampires like Nosferatu that look like, just fangs and just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
for the
that's what
most
you consider
part,
like.
Wait. It had fangs and then what?
Look like a beaver.
Oh
yeah, it kind of
no,
looked like
but if you look, no, no, no.
Schindler's Rat if
If
you
you
draw
look at the
past me.
old school Nosferatu movies, he walked around like this, and you can see his fangs.
Like a beaver.
I was thinking Schindler's Rat, but yeah, it's
Right,
kind of gross.
that too.
Anyway, but that's why we were having
Yeah,
this discussion and comparing the different types of vampire movies because of that right there. Like, no, they weren't like the present focus, but they were the main medium of antagonization. So
yeah. Vampires
it,
are usually used for a trope to have another kind of social allegory underneath. Typically, it's sex, but it's used for a lot of things like addiction, like in was that Being Human? Is used for like drugs out drug outbreaks, like in 28 Days Later, like you mentioned. It's always used as a tool to tell a different story rather than it being the actual thing. But yeah, sorry, didn't mean to step on you.
no, you're fine, you're fine. Um, but that point, that is why I enjoy vampire movies for what they are, because they represent so many different things. They can represent lust, they can represent power, they can represent, you know,
Oppression.
they can, you know, it's like, okay, coming from the example you just said of the Underworld series, in that world, vampires rule, and humans, I believe, are like food. In all stories of vampires rule, humans are food. Let's just say that. That's just what it is. But it does always end in that thing of the vampires having that type of hierarchy because of, vampires are supposed to have speed and strength and, not. It's like all these abilities. Those are the two that are like the common. But then they have others like the ability to glamour or hypnotize people or, things like that. Like you saw a lot of that in True Blood. Like True Blood was probably one of the best vampire shows on TV, fantasy wise, for me, just because it gave you all of that. You know what I mean? Like it gave you all the sexiness, it gave you the power, it gave you the want to be a vampire, but the not want to be because you got to go through. Like, and in their version of being a vampire, you were tied to your maker. There are some stories where you're not tied to your maker, and you have some that you are. Like,
It was on True Blood, right?
say what?
It was on True Blood that they were tied to the maker, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Once your maker literally could control you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. In some vampire movies it has that, in some it doesn't. But I want to switch over because I feel like I'm kind of rambling. I know that y'all would tell me if I am. I want to start getting into our favorite movies, our favorite vampires, and
Well, I
let's
kind of
start
want to finish talking
I
about the
don't think
movie.
Cole finished
I know.
we got into
I
our debate and Cole never really finished.
We can swing back if you want to. You want to
Right.
swing back? You
So
can swing back. I'm gonna let you go ahead and give you like another. Go ahead and get because I feel that's the case. Somebody got something else to say. So let's go ahead and let you give you the floor back.
yay. All right. So anyway, like I said, we start off with the brothers that we introduced to, played by Michael B. Jordan, which I have to say that he was very brilliant at it because you didn't even notice that it was being played by the same person. First, it was striking that it was like him. Is this somebody that looks like him, or is it him? But he played the
Oh no, he
character.
said that he had to play.
Right.
I'm
Hello,
gonna
I'm
cut you off.
talking.
I'm gonna answer you
No,
real quick.
no,
In an
no.
interview, he answer you real quick.
Hello, I'm speaking. I was getting there. So he made the characters very distinct, and from the trope to that, not the trope, but the way he did that was that he had some twins that he actually um, went to teach them the different ways in which twins interact to make sure that he portrayed those characters very much differently and very much how twins would interact with each other. And he did that so well that I kind of forgot that I was watching the same person. I kudos to the actual the ethic of acting that went into that and portraying those two roles of Smoke and Stack. You can tell there was a very distinct difference. Whereas Stack was the more free brother, more passionate one that was all into making this coin, having fun, living life to the fullest. Whereas Smoke, who was the oldest, was more reserved, more calculating, more protective, and it also showed that he was ex-military. So it was very,
They
very,
both
really
were.
right. I wasn't sure if both were. So
Yeah, they
yeah,
both were.
okay, because I missed that they were both were
No, in the story, they've been together their whole life.
right.
Ever since
And
Stack killed their daddy, they've been together. No, Smoke killed their daddy. They've been together the whole time.
that becomes a very key point in the very end of the movie as well. And then from there, the other difference. Okay, the main thing that really took me about this movie is just how culturally rich it was. Um, when I first started watching it, it felt oddly enough, it felt comforting. And to that is because my family is from the area that this film takes place. Everything that was involved was pretty much everything that's been seeded into my upbringing. And everything just seems so familiar. And just to see, just to be represented in such a way was just something that I had never experienced before. We've always seen movies from these times that take us back to the South and portrayed certain things, but it's always been very surface. This was so nuanced that you could not help but just feel embraced by it. And I just kind of got my life, like from seeing the Choctaw show up, which is the tribe that's within that area. And this is how intricate the story is. So the Choctaw show up to check on the white couple that's there to see if they're okay. Because there's somebody that's been going around causing havoc within the tribe. And that's when we see, uh, well, we saw somebody run to the cabin ahead trying to look for safety because he said that the natives were coming after him. They reluctantly let him in, and then we cut to the Choctaw tribe coming in to check on the couple. And I was like, wow, okay, that's very on point to the area and everything. Because anybody else would just be like natives, no kind of tribe, no kind of nothing. But the fact that you researched and knew that that was the tribes that belong in that area, I thought I was kudos. Then we see that Remick has killed one of the couple, and then we move on from there. Um, we get introduced to, like I said, Smoke and Stack, and we notice them because they wear red and blue. We go into different parts of their lives. He goes to the town, introduces his plan to like have his juke joint and all this kind of stuff. The brothers split up and go to meet their paramours that they've met in the past, and this is where we meet Annie, which is Smoke's um I guess wife. And this is another part of the culture that was just very on point that we don't really see mentioned or talked about. Whereas he discovered that Annie does local medicines for the people within the town, and we discovered that she's a hoodoo priestess. And if you notice, Annie always wears blue. And the significance of that is that blue is a color that's supposed to be to ward off evil spirits, basically ghosts. So everything about her wears blue. And if you notice, Smoke always wears blue, and she has them do that to protect them. So the blue, the significance with the blue, I'm just going to get into that a little bit, is that it fools spirits, or as we will learn later, are they call haints. It's like another word for haunts. So meaning ghosts that possess you and take over your body and stuff. So blue is to fool them into thinking like, hey, it's water or the sky because they're supposed to be scared of the water or the sky. So if you also notice when you pull out later on after um, Smoke leaves the house, her house is painted in the same blue. And it's only a specific color that's in this area because it's made by the flowers that's part of the region. So I just these little details is just what makes this movie so special because these are all parts of our culture that a lot of us have forgotten that was very intrinsic to how we were brought up in our past. And it's anyway, sorry. But and then we go into the town. We see that there's actually like stores where they sell tamales, which is another throwback because we also
Okay,
had.
I need to interrupt and ask this: are you going to give
Hmm?
a play-by-play of the movie as which you all say I do, which is what you are currently doing right now, or are you going to give a type of opinion? Because all you're
I
doing
do
is just
those things.
reviewing the movie. You are literally giving a detailed overview of the movie right now.
So if you remember or listened when I spoke, I said no, we're going to actually spoil this movie completely because it's been out
Yeah,
for
but
weeks.
but you are literally this is like a video game walkthrough.
I'm just saying
You
all the
are
things I've taken away from it. Just the fact that he just took into so much care to actually portray this time
Um,
frame so succinctly.
no. So when we was watching this movie, it was like it 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 was like Cole was watching a old film from his family.
from his
So
childhood.
yeah,
Right. Everything in there is part of my makeup.
Now,
I'm-
That's
Doug is trying to say you were a child in the 30s.
Shut up.
what I mean. Like you Curtis just said it was like he was watching an old family movie from his
Right.
childhood. Yes, he was sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't it with his pappy on his knee watching the I get it. I get it, honey. You had a blue house with a blue flower and a blue bow and a blue ribbon. I get it. You was baby, you was wrapped in blue. Ah, honey, lucky. Baby blue, but you wear black, which is so weird. But so what we're gonna do is let's
Anyway.
let's try to
But
wrap
yeah,
this up.
okay,
Yeah,
fine. But like even down to Remick, we discovered that he was a Irish native.
hit the fast forward
And
button.
again, this is where everything just comes together because my family is also from Scottish immigrants that came through that area.
Child, you are
But
everything under the sun.
but
He's
anyway,
got his hand up.
hey,
Yes,
real
Carnage.
quick,
Yes.
real quick. So I just watched the movie and watched the beginning of the movie. We was introduced to um the cousin first,
Yes.
and the cousin went to the church, and he it was scratched or whatever, and he said, "Come in." So we was introduced to him first.
Yeah,
That's
the movie basically started at the end and went backwards.
right.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, well, yeah, like I said, so Irish immigrants that were actually came in as indentured slaves that were taken in by the Choctaw. I was like, it's just all these little things just came together. Um, but anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's just so much involved in this movie. It's just the see our culture portrayed so expansively. It was very comforting. The social allegories that were given through religion, the intersectionality of music from sexuality to spirituality, cultural acclamation from like the vampires are used as a way to talk about oppression and cultural appropriation. Um, it's just every time you watch this, there's something more you can take from it, a story, a lesson, how to holding on to our culture, how special it is, why we should protect it, and why we should not allow it to be taken away from us, and that we should cultivate it and hold on to it and keep it. Um, it's special. It's a way to get close to spirituality. Um, I don't know. I just thought this movie was everything. It does have some factors where there are some issues, but to me, this is like the blackest movie I've seen in a long time. And I think, despite the fact that there are vampires and people think it's demonic, I think people think they should take the time to actually watch it and explore it for themselves and see what they can take away from it rather than just that there are vampires in it. All right.
That's what's up. Emmy, take it away.
Baby, the marathon, honey. We got y'all say I
Thank
can
you,
talk.
Cole.
Jesus
Nope, I
Christ.
appreciated
No.
that, Cole, because you connected it back to your
Well,
heritage, and
leave it to the elder of us to, get the most out of it.
well, no,
Enrich.
I appreciate that. We learned some things about you today.
Yes.
That
That you
I
live
didn't
through
know.
most of it. Girl, I'm coming for you. I don't know why. I just love you so much, but I can't help it. You come for me all the time. You come for me every week. I got you, girl. But anyway, yes.
But in
I,
in in the great essence of the Sinners being a vampire movie
love it.
with thought behind it,
It's a deep vampire movie.
It's an
It's
action movie. It's a romance. It's
and
a
a
social
vampire
yeah,
movie.
allegory.
Uh,
it is a culturally deep
Whatever.
vampire movie.
yeah, a vampire movie with a message.
There you go.
With a
There
twist.
you go. Okay. With a twist, Sonny.
We just wanted to kind of touch on some of maybe our favorite vampire movies that might have a message or might not, and just kind of go down memory lane a little bit with some of the ones we truly enjoyed. Take it away, Kyrie.
I'm gonna start with one of my favorites is the Blade trilogy. Like I just loved it. That was probably one of the first times I got introduced into vampire movies that I could fuck with because it was a vampire killing vampires, and then like Wesley Snipes has always been a dope ass martial artist. So to see him just do his thing in all three of those movies. Now I think the second one was probably the best one out of all of them. It had a lot more action, a deeper story, a totally different type of vampire that just couldn't be killed like regular vampires. That one had more of a viral type of twist to it. So I thought that being that was not only a Marvel thing, because that was one of Marvel's first movies out the gate. A lot of people didn't know that back in the day that Blade was a Marvel character. Excuse me, is a Marvel character. And it was just for me one of the best introductions into vampire movies I've
Wait,
fucking
wait.
ever loved.
When did you find out that he was a Marvel character? Because yeah, when did you find out?
It wasn't until what did I play? Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Okay.
When I
Um,
started playing that game, and I think he was in was he in the first and the second one? I believe so. I may be wrong, but if not, he was definitely in the second one. So I learned about Blade through the video games.
I didn't find out. I didn't find out until I was talking to my boy, and he was big on comic books, and he was like, yeah, because Blade is such and such or whatever, and I was like, Blade who? And he was like, Blade, the movie Blade, he a Marvel character. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
And he's one of the best.
yeah.
Uh,
And
uh,
yes, he was.
mm,
Yes, he was. And
wait. So,
his
so
cameo in
no,
Deadpool and
I'm older
Wolverine
than
was
you,
sickening as
so
fuck.
haha.
Making me choke, man. Making me choke.
But since you're joking, like I said, I'm older than you. So when I first discovered
You
the
older than all
Blade
of us,
movie
honey.
being made, I was like, Blade, that's interesting. And I was like, it couldn't be. So I'm a big, huge, avid comic book fan. So I'm like, he didn't look anything like the Blade I remember. And I had to look it up. Like, no, that's actually supposed to be him. So they pretty much just took the character's name and just totally revamped him, and for the better, to be honest. But yeah, he looked. If you look at the original Blade, what he used to look like, he looks goofy as fuck.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm
Hell
just
yeah.
saying.
Like, I get that. Like, that's the one thing. When they did revamp him for the Wesley Snipes character, when they did his movie, because it was so popular, they did redesign his character going forward to resemble the Wesley Snipes character, which again I do applaud because motherfucker's sickening. He's fucking sickening, honey. And I'm gonna tell you something. His cameo in fucking Deadpool and Wolverine was everything, bitch. It was everything. That motherfucker got one shot off. It hit him off his chest. He looked like nigga, please, and put that nigga lights out. I said that is Blade. That's mother. And the other thing was cute. They gave a little nod to Mahershala Ali. I guess his attempt at taking the role when he said, "There's only one Blade. There'll only ever be one Blade." That's why he said that. That's why he said that because he is Blade. Now, I would love for them to reprise his role and give him something standalone. And I think he can do it. Seriously, he can do it. Well, not necessarily standalone, but you know what I'm saying. Make it a Blade movie and have like Midnight Suns. Give us a Midnight Suns with Blade in it. Because I'm telling you, that would be fuck. Blade, Moon Knight. Yeah, that, I'm not about to go there, but I'm just saying Blade is fucking sexy. But if you want to skip the script and go to a different vampire movie, Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire, the movie version was very lust filled and erotic, but also on the flip side had like a family aspect to it with the little girl and all of that. And that was the movie was it was great. It spanned so many years. Everything was done. Even Antonio Banderas' character, he was just like oozing sex with that long black hair and them long ass nails. Honey, I wanted to be him and have what he had on.
Subjective.
I just wanted to have like it was all fuck you. So
I,
back then,
I can't watch no vampire movie where nobody don't get killed.
Oh my lord.
There was
look,
killing.
There was
there were
killing.
they were eating people. There was blood. There was blood sucking. It wasn't being faces
And he
being
was
ripped off.
eating rats.
Okay,
I prefer the TV series, to be honest, but okay.
the TV series goes more in depth
The TV
and takes
series is
more
more true
liberties.
to the book. You know, back in the 90s when a movie was made, they couldn't
Right.
be as
Louis couldn't.
homosexual and all those things
Louis
in
couldn't
the
be seen getting
movie.
bent over by Lestat. Come on
But
now.
I don't care what anyone says.
Allegedly. I don't know.
Nobody, no little kid serves evil like Kirsten Dunst did in that
Yeah,
movie. That she was
Claudia
a crazy little
was
bitch.
insane.
Yes.
Like, because she was a little, and what's so cool about it is that she played the role of a grown woman trapped in a child's body. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was Claudia's story. Because Lestat turned her when she was a child. She was sick. And they spent all that time together. She mentally grew up. Her mind was that of an adult woman. Her body was stuck as a child. That's what made her so angry and vicious because she grew to realize nothing about me is going to change. I'm never going to be the woman that like I want to be. Like, yo, that shit was fucking crazy. The mind fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Lestat thinking that he was doing all these things just to keep Louis. Louis, it was all crazy. It was all fucking crazy. But Claudia took the cake for me. Yeah, I hated how she died though. In the end, that random woman, she didn't deserve that. She got turned to a vampire in the same night she died. That was just all fucked up. But yeah, like that was the thing for me.
Yeah, I didn't remember how they portrayed it in the movie. Like I said, the movie didn't stick with me that well. The TV series is a bit different. So I prefer the TV series. I'm sorry. It's
Is it
just
for all the man on man sex they have in the TV show? That's
Cause
all.
honey, it's a
no, it's
lot.
not even for that. It's just the story is just so well done. Again,
No,
it
I'm
takes
just
place
playing.
in this part of my family's history, but I love
When the
the Christian
vampires see your
allegories
family
adding
too
into it.
cold. Oh my god.
No, my family's from Mississippi and Louisiana, so
Mississippi,
there's a lot of
Louisiana.
stuff around these
Your
stories
family is
that
from Mississippi, Louisiana, and they're Irish.
yeah.
Okay.
Nugget.
Do
And
you want me to tell you about the culture of those areas and how those
I
things came
really
about?
don't. I really don't. But you are the United Nations. Let's just put you are the United Nations. Let's just say that.
Look up your
No,
ancestry and learn some things instead of you talking out your ass right now.
no, I'm just talking shit to you because it's funny.
Anyway, back to the Claudius.
So anyway,
Um,
moving forward.
so what
Right.
movies? What vampire movies you watch, Hemi?
Some of my favorites, like one of my number ones is The Lost Boys. Like me and
Hands
my
down.
best friend used to watch that movie over and over. Like it's one of my best friend's favorites, so we watched it all the time. Like I lived for the old man being the leader, and you just did not even catch that to the end. After they had killed all the young vampires, and they were like, "Why is the brother still changing?" And then the nerdy old man comes, nerdy old neighbor just comes out to be the ringleader of all the vampires. Just kills me every time I see that movie. But yeah, that was one of my um childhood favorites. I used to live for a Corey Feldman, Corey Haim movie back in the 80s. So that was one of my favorites.
Hilarious to
Then
me.
if yes, then you have like comedy like Once Bitten with Jim Carrey, which I've seen a million times, which is um a comedy about vampires with Lauren Hutton and Jim Carrey.
I
Where,
And the
where
funny
vampires are
part
used for
is,
sex.
yes, the funny part is she has to bite him like on the inside of his thigh, right up under
And
his
she has to
gut,
be a virgin.
to get her youth back. And
I
it's a hilarious movie.
I never seen that.
Really?
It is
So fun.
funny. It
Can't
really
somebody
is.
find it.
But yeah,
I'm
and
not
then
gonna lie.
oh go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying real quick. When Hemi and I were talking about Once Bitten, I told him when I was a kid and I saw this, my mind was like, "Is that how you give somebody head? That's how you suck dick? You bite their thigh? That's what you do?" Because I didn't, I didn't know. Yeah, I was a kid. I had no idea about sex at all. Like no idea. So when I was watching this movie, when I was enjoying it, and she did that, I was like, "Is that how you give hit?" She bit his.
The things I'm holding inside right now.
I
Everything
know
is
it was
about
Anyway,
hilarious.
sex with him,
Yeah,
even when he was 7.
I don't even know how that was, dog. But like
Well,
laughing at that so much now.
he got it from somewhere.
I know.
exactly.
All I know is when you bite thighs, honey, things happen on a man. Let me tell you some shit. All right, let me tell you something.
Ew. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's move forward. Let's move
I can't even. I can't. I can't hear that. I'll die.
Eric, what are some of yours? Let's just get off of this topic.
Uh, uh,
Carnage, you're up.
Yes, Carnage.
uh,
That's what I meant.
so one of my favorite movies. We talked about it earlier. Um, uh,
You better not say Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that too. My mind said vampire in Brooklyn.
I don't know why I see you saying that,
I know. Because Eric is the hoodest of us all, baby. And I love it. Come
but
on.
go ahead. Sorry.
we ain't talk about the movie earlier. Uh, but the Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh, Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah, Dust Till Dawn.
That's one of your
Uh,
favorites.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that was one of my favorites. Uh, Fright Night
Oh yeah.
uh, was one of my favorites. Uh, True Blood was one of my favorite um, uh, uh, TV series.
I'm here for it. And I will say I lived for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not that
Oh,
first
hands
season,
down, yes.
but like the
I
season
I I
10
And
through
never
the
the
end.
movie for me, too.
I never was a Buffy person.
I lived for Buffy.
Was because it was a little white girl slaying vampires. Is that why it was? It was
Sure.
more teen.
I mean,
It was
sure.
more teen. It was more teen drama than vampire.
Yeah, okay. I'll say that it was more teen drama, and I felt like, what am I watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for? You
She
know,
was killing vampires every week, throwing stakes through hearts and kicking bitches' asses, honey. She was being
but
cute.
I didn't know that,
Ah,
so
man.
I have to watch it. That could be content.
I
Carnage,
think you would.
It's a
Carnage.
good binge watch. You have to excuse that
I,
first season. The first season is real. But
Yeah, it's
it's
kind of
off the
rough.
ground.
once you get past the first season, it gets good.
Like, and then when you get the other Slayers in, like Faith
Yeah.
and a couple. Well, Faith
Five
is
by
the other
five.
one. Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like when you start getting into
And when
the
Dawn
show,
showed up, the little sister,
yeah,
the key.
I hated
like
Dawn. I'm sorry. I hated her to death.
I never
Rest in
understood her
peace, but I
character.
hated her character. I'm sorry.
I never understood her
That was the
character.
point. I think it was for her to be annoying.
Just threw her ass in.
So
You
she
just looked at
did
the
her
bitch was
job.
there.
She did her job.
You know what she reminded me of? She reminded me of Rini, like in Sailor Moon. Like you just looked up and little bitch was just fucking there. Like where the hell did she come
You know
from?
what?
And then like
Yeah.
half through the season they explain who the fuck she is.
I don't know
Yes,
that
that's so
reference.
valid. Oh, sorry. Anime. Well, Sailor
Yeah, I
Moon.
know. I know who Sailor Moon is, but I've
Rini
only
is
seen the reference.
Rini is her
Oh,
daughter.
I didn't need you to explain it. I'm sorry. I didn't know if I didn't make that clear.
That was natural. That was natural as shit. We are getting comfortable on camera, everybody. I swear to God, that was the realest I think Hibby has ever fucking been on camera. I already know. That's probably the realest I think he's ever been on camera. Because that's how he
So
is when we talk on the phone.
transition to Shazam.
Yes.
What were your
Right.
favorite
These shows just like getting so
vampire?
funny.
Eric, you are killing these segues today.
I love it.
I
I
mean,
am
God.
loving it.
I don't even think
Yeah.
I got any left. To be honest, I named everything else today. What?
Ooh, you are on it today, big one.
What did? Damn. What? Y'all done named everything else today. Shit.
Think
I
of a
guess
vampire in Brooklyn. What you
I was introduced from vampires. Like, shut up and tell them. Tell,
And I watched Vampire in Brooklyn, and I liked it
I
for the
knew you would.
cheesy for the cheesy movie that it
Yes,
was. I
exactly.
liked
Exactly.
That movie was terrible. I'm
It was meant to be
sorry.
cheesy. It was meant to be a
I
cheesy
don't think
comedy.
it was supposed to be cheesy. I don't think it was supposed to be. Eddie
That's
Murphy
what I
thought he
think.
was gonna come out and kill it, and it turned out like, what is happening?
but
Angela Bassett,
but it was
why did
dead on
you agree to
arrival.
do
But oh
this?
well.
Because she probably got a good check.
Right. She wasn't that famous yet. That's why.
Well, so you know what?
And it was Eddie Murphy movie, so I probably would have did it too.
That's facts. That's probably facts.
But anyway, y'all pretty much named all of mine. But I guess my introduction to vampire movies was Love at First Bite.
You live for a great. Is that Grace Jones?
No, that's not Grace Jones. That
Oh,
was it Mark Hamilton? Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Is it Mark Hamill? I can't remember which one. What it is? I mean, like. But he's a white guy from the God, late 70s, early 80s. He used to tan all the damn time. He just looked. He was the first Orange Bandit.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the leather face. That's what I'm talking about.
Leatherface.
He looks like a leather handbag.
Let me see.
His name.
Yeah, George Hamilton. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And
Oh, you know what? I've seen this movie before when I
right.
was a kid.
That thing used to come on all the time when I was
Oh,
a kid.
yes, it used to come on like Channel 50.
Yeah, I saw it on cable. Shut up. Well, before there was cable, Love at
Yeah,
First
what
Bite.
movie is that? I don't think I've seen that movie. What movie is that?
The Love at First Bite.
Isn't it a funny movie?
Yes, it's a
Yeah,
comedy.
it's a
A
like
lot of
a
my vampire movie introductions were first comedies, like Love
yeah
at First Bite, Once
God, I'm gonna
Bitten.
be looking.
yeah. I've seen that movie. It's
Oh,
funny.
it's a hoot. Did I say hoot?
I didn't realize it was that old.
Shut up.
I know you were at the premiere call, but
No, before cable was
What?
cable.
This, when
Before
was
cable,
this?
before cable was cable, it used to come on the. It used to have it. It was like it, HBO, and on. And I had it, and it used to be one of the movies that would come on it all
This movie
the
came
time.
out in 1979.
I still remember stuff I've seen from those years in the theater.
God, one day I want to cut your leg off and count the rings. I'm telling you, one day I'm just gonna like an oak
Um,
tree.
he was
You have
4.
been here before, nigga.
He was 4.
God, you're old as fuck.
Allegedly.
No, bitch. He just told you to fuck out. He's like, he was 4, meaning you went to the theater and saw this shit, nigga.
I just said Cole was at the premiere.
I
He
saw
was.
I saw the Wiz when it premiered at the theater. I
Oh,
saw Superman the movie. I saw Alien. These are all things I've seen in the theater.
I saw E.T. and it was traumatic for me.
Oh yeah, that was traumatic as fuck for me. Oh, that
I
was horrible.
honestly, I never sat through a whole watching of ET. It felt too
are you
long.
serious?
I have never watched it all the way
Oh,
through. Never.
it's heart wrenching.
And that's probably why I won't do it
Oh,
now.
his face
Because
cover.
I know he
Oh,
goes. It's like sad. Like the government captures him, and like one point he turns white because like he's dying or some shit. Like the little boy got to sneak him out, and they travel and jump over the moon or some bullshit, and then like
He
he
said
gets
jump
them.
over the
over the
moon.
moon.
I think you're referencing a fairy tale. That was a cow, not E.T.
Boo!
Cow jumped over the moon, dear. Not E.T.
No, but it was like no. I remember some scene. It was like they riding the bike and they're about to get caught or something. ET pulls his finger out, it glows, and they like take off or some shit. And you see a silhouette of them passing over the moon or some bullshit, and then they land or whatever. And he gets into his ship, and then it's like the whole thing was he wanted to go home, so the boy got him home. So I know the whole premise of the movie, but I don't need to see it.
Yes, you do. You should
No, I
see
don't.
it.
No, I never will.
Everyone should see E.T.
Never will see it ever.
Really? Why?
I just said no.
I seen Love at First Bite too.
Yeah, it
Were
used to
you
come on like channel 50 and 20 all the time, like on a Saturday
Anyway,
in the middle of the day.
Essentially, y'all have seen reruns of this movie.
Yeah,
He saw it when it originally aired.
we know.
That's the
I
point.
said he was at the premiere. He walked the red carpet for the movie.
God don't like ugly and he hates you. Anyway.
Right. What's your excuse? Because
He walked the red carpet. Oh,
he paid for that nickel ticket. Back then, popcorn was 10 cents. Okay, they sat down and had a good time at the good old flicker
It was
show.
$1. Anyway.
When Cole,
Anyway.
when Cole went to the movies, they had that whole thing. Let's go down to the movies. Let's go down to the
We
movies.
still got that though.
No, they don't.
They still got that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck all y'all. It was funny when I said it. Fuck all three of y'all. Finally, they still got that. That don't mean it was. When it started, you know what? All y'all are bitches. All y'all
Your
are.
joke
So
didn't
my
land,
other
Fred. Your joke
movie.
didn't land. Go ahead. Go.
You had to rephrase that joke. You know what I'm saying? If you would have said he was alive when it started.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. Y'all don't
Anyway,
listen. Y'all don't
Shazam,
listen.
well, you had one more. You had
The
one
elder
more.
abuse. Anyway, what was left of my list would be Vamp. So this would be something for you, the kids to go out and see because it's one of our icons that's the star of that, which would be Grace Jones.
That's the movie I was thinking of.
Right, that's what you're thinking about. So that's one of my other favorites, which I went to see at the Thrive Inn. Yeah.
Well, we were all alive when that movie came out, Cole. So
I guess. Anywho, now that severely piled on the elder of the group and made him feel insignificant and insecure in his status in life, what else would you like to talk about, bitches?
well, I feel like we could wrap it up here
Yeah, I think we had a really good show today.
so
This has
that
been
we
pretty
don't
fucking
have to
fun.
commit any more elder abuse.
I mean, although, you know what I'm saying, that cane ain't too far away.
I know where you live.
Anyway, see, I know, but you can't get to me. You break a hip by the time you got here. Pump. Anyway,
That wasn't
Mm.
funny.
God, fuck y'all. My dry humor is funny. My dry humor is fucking funny. Listen to me, audience.
If
Feels
only
like
there was
you're
room
I am
for
a
trying too
humor.
funny
hard.
motherfucker. Y'all know I'm funny.
It feels
Fuck
like
these
you're
other
trying
bitches.
too hard.
Funny looking.
You funny smelling, bitch.
If only there
All
was
right, so let's wrap this on up.
Yeah, let's get ready to go ahead and bring this show to an end.
Fine.
We want to thank our producers for a wonderful show. Goodbye.
Thank me with some deodorant next time. Anyway.
Shut up. All right. So if you guys want to support us, you guys can go to our website. It is what'sthepointpod.com. At our website, you can watch old episodes. You can also listen to old episodes. You can also catch up on anything going on with any one of the four of us. Him, Ernie. I forgot. Also, if you want to support us, you can go check out our merch coming soon. It is going to be up on what'sthepointmerch.com. So, and there's also our store, Artistic Wizardry Studios. As we always say, break the mold and be bold. Hemi, can you please tell our friends what they? I'm sorry. You please tell our friends where they can listen to us.
You haven't been able to talk all day.
The last 3 shows, I've not been able to close the show. It has been like murder.
You can listen to us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And if you want to watch
Nugget,
us,
I mean Kyrie, everybody got a different name. Kyrie, where can
that's
they
nice.
see us?
If you want to see us, you can watch us every Friday morning, 11 a.m. on YouTube. And Hemi, as always, please tell our audience what they can do.
Keep it classy, y'all. Bye.
Because we truly don't. I'll let y'all later. Oh God! You know what? I'm gonna get cue cards. I swear to God, I'm gonna get cue cards.
But you can't read.
I know, girl, but I can signal.
Have to write down symbols.
I don't know.